Hey YouTube, this is that Rhino and welcome to my tips and tricks strategy video for the CJ. Now, I'm going to come out with the tips and strategy guide for all the bosses, the VPs, CFO, CJ, and CEO, but I decided to go ahead and start with the CJ, but I'll do all four of them eventually. But this is just a little tip and strategy guide on how to fight the CJ. So in case you're new to the CJ, or you just want to check this video out, here it is. Now, I skipped the cog battle just because I didn't feel like showing off. I'm sure y'all know how to fight cogs already, but these people are pretty much demonstrating a bad rule. This is the cannon round, and never start firing until all the cogs are seated. Normally we wait till 22 seconds, but if we don't see any cogs sitting, then we just go ahead and fire. But always wait till all the cogs are seated before you start firing, because if you don't, you're going to waste a lot of time, a lot of tunes, and it's just not going to be good. I suck at this cannon round, so yeah. But anyway, at least I know the wait till all cogs are seated rule. Okay, now, in case y'all don't know, you need 8 tunes seated to get a balanced scale for the final round. We got 6 tunes, so as you can see, it's not that balanced. But the more tunes you have seated, the better your chance of winning. If you have less than 8, if you have less than 5, you're pretty much screwed. You're pretty much screwed for the entire boss run, and you're in for a tough battle. If you get more than 5 but less than 8, then you're pretty good. You're pretty solid. You'll just have like a, I don't know the exact word, but you'll have a pretty good run. But if you get more than 8 tunes, 8 to 12 tunes, then you're pretty much going to have an easy run, and you're pretty much going to have, I don't know why that CJ's door is open. Anyway, you're pretty much, if you get more than 8 tunes seated, you're pretty much going to have a good run on the CJ. So let's just recap real quick. 1 to 4 tunes, you're gonna have, or 1 to 5 tunes, you're gonna have a bad run. 6 to 8 tunes, you're gonna have a solid run, and 8 to 12 tunes, you're gonna have a good run. So just, yeah. I'm not good at the seating part, but that's enough of talk about the cannon round. Now this is the scale part. Basically, you're trying to get your side, the tune side of the scale, down to the bottom, and once you do that, you win. Now, you use these evidence that you get from over here on the jewelry stand. Now, you can stun the cogs, and if you stun all cogs, all the cogs are stunned, then you have, your evidence is 2 times heavier for the next 20 seconds, like this. See, he's basically telling us, and you'll know if all the cogs are stunned because one, you'll see that timer, and 2, he would tell you that your evidence is 2 times heavier for the next 20 seconds. Now, I don't recommend stunning the cogs if you're a bottom feeder, or if you're a low tune and you're new to the CJ. Don't worry about stunning the cogs. Leave that to the big wigs and the experts at stunning the cogs, because I never stun the cogs anyway. I just always let other people stun them. depending on the size of your group, you should have more than 2 tunes at a time stunning all the cogs. Because this really depends on how many big wigs you have in your team. Because the more big wigs you have, the more cogs you're going to have to stun, and the more hammers you're going to have. So we don't have, I forgot how many big wigs was in here, but I believe there was only about 3 or 4. And as you can see, we have not very many hammers, and we got the normal amount of cogs. So if you have 8 big wigs, then you have those cogs right there that you see, those, all those, and then you have one, you got one cog right here and one on the opposite side. So you'll have 2 extra cogs, and you'll have way more anvils to dodge. I mean, why do I keep on saying anvils? You'll have way more hammers to dodge. So this basically depends on how many big wigs you have in your group. Because the more big wigs, the harder the CJ is. And the less big wigs, the easier the CJ is. But now, as you can see, all thing you're basically doing is just running back and forth, touching the jewelry stand, and then running back over here and hitting the scale again. Now let's talk about the hammers real quick. The hammers, as you can see, they'll just hit at random places that is next to. Now, if a hammer falls on you, like if a hammer hits you, it causes 20 damage, but if you accidentally run into the stick part of the hammer, it's only 2 damage. So it's 20 damage if you hit the front of the hammer, and it's only 2 damage if you hit the stick of the hammer. And you can heal other tunes with evidence, and yeah, I'm not really a huge know-it-all when it comes to bonus weight. Like, I know the more tunes you seat, like you actually seat, that's how much bonus weight you have or something. I've never had any bonus weight, so I'm not an expert on that. But there's some videos on there that explains bonus weight, so just look them up. Now you just keep on touching this like I'm doing, and trying to think if there's any more tips. Oh yeah, on the CJ, he'll just keep on talking about, he'll just keep on spewing out phrases, and if you like don't have your sound on, like me, I never keep my sound on, so most battles, to know if the VP's, or on the VP, to know if he's going to jump, he makes that sound. Well, you basically can't hear it if you have no sound on, so you gotta be looking at him at all times to find out if he's going to jump or not. Here you can kind of tell when he's going to jump, because every time he's fixing to jump, he always says, "You're all in contempt of court." Once he says, "You're all in contempt of court," he waits a couple seconds, and then he makes that sound like the VP does right before he jumps, and then he jumps. And just like the VP, if you don't jump in time, you lose 10 laugh. But yeah, so just pay attention to him. If he says you're all in contempt of court, then you'll know to jump. And plus, if you stand where I'm standing, you'll be able to see him at all times and still be able to hit the pan. I always like standing over here, just because, for one, right now, you see I got no hammers, but sometimes if I go in about with a lot of big wigs, I'll have a hammer next to me, but this time I don't. See, you're all in contempt of court, and then he jumps. So, some people don't know that just because they don't pay attention to what he says, but I actually caught on to that one day, because I didn't have my sound on, and I was paying attention to find out if there was like a pattern of when he jumps, and then I noticed that every time he says you are all in contempt of court, that's when he jumps. He doesn't jump at no other times except whenever he says you are all in contempt of court. So, oh, and another thing, the cogs will throw evidence at you, and if they hit you with it, it does 2 damage, or sometimes they may hit it in their side, in the cog side of the pan, and if they do that, then basically the pan just moves up a couple. So the cogs can win the CJ if you like do nothing and just stand around and do nothing. Then the cogs can win, because all they will have to do is just keep on throwing evidence at their side of the pan, and they can knock it down to their side. And yeah, that hasn't happened to me before, but I've seen it happen on videos where the cogs actually win, and you go sad, of course, and go back to the playground, but you don't lose any of your gags. So it's like you died, but you don't lose any of your gags. So yeah, I believe this is the only battle where the boss can actually win. I don't believe they can win on VP, CFO, or CEO. I could be mistaken, but I believe this is the... I haven't seen any other boss battles where the bosses can win, so I'm not too sure. Y'all can leave in the comment section below if the other bosses can win and how, so I can be sure to mention that whenever I do those battles. I believe I'm going to do a strategy and tip video for the CEO next. I just need to try and get all my stock options. I hate doing the front threes and stuff. Yes, I said front threes. I'm not ready for back nines yet, but I hate doing them, but it has to be done, just so I can do the strategy and tip video. But anyway, this is fixing to come to a close. We're fixing to win. And in case y'all don't know, the rewards you get for these are summons. You can either summon a specific cog, a specific cog building, or a specific cog invasion. So you can summon, and it's random every time, so you can never know which you actually get. And we won. Now he just says that it's impossible. The Toons won. He declares a mistrial, and he's going to schedule a new trial, and then he goes back in his chambers, and then we start dancing. So yeah, that's been my first tip and strategy video for these bosses. This was on the CJ, in case y'all didn't know, but I don't know when I'm going to come out. I don't know when I'm going to come out with the next one. I'm thinking about going to go ahead and do a mint, so I may do the CFO strategy tip video next. But comment below and tell me what y'all thought about this video. Be sure to comment and tell me if there's anything I missed that you want to add, and then I'll be sure to put in the description and give you credit for it. But anyway guys, that's it, and that's basically the video. Now just watch the Toons dance to victory, go ahead and get all summons, and get out of here. So anyway guys, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video here. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you on my next video.